Good morning and welcome to Newsviews. I'm Tanya Babich. Chicago is a city on a lake, but running through the heart of it is a river. And these days, it's a busy place. Kayakers paddle down the Chicago River. Along the shore, the River Walk is home to a number of restaurants, and the waters are home to more than 70 species of fish, muskrats, turtles, herons, and more. Not that long ago, though, this might have been difficult to imagine. The river was dirty, it was neglected. And among those who have been working to clean it up, you have Friends of the Chicago River and the Shedd Aquarium. Joining me now, Margaret Frisbee, Executive Director of Friends of the Chicago River, and Jacqueline Wagner, the Shedd Aquarium's Director of Conservation Action. Thank you both for being with me today.
Oh, thank you for having us today, Tanya. This is terrific.
Well, we've had quite the evolution along the riverfront there. How have we been able to make progress over the last several decades?
Well, frankly, it's been step by step. The Clean Water Act calls for a continuous investment in clean water. Our ultimate goal is swimmable, fishable waters, which means the river is clean enough where fish are reproducing in a healthy manner consistently the way that they should be, and the people can swim. So we've been working to reduce combined sewer overflows, which is when stormwater and sewage mixes together and overwhelms our sewer system, ends up in the river. We've cleaned up the discharges from sewage treatment plants. We've got people excited, and we've built awareness of this river as a natural resource, and that has really changed people, and so that they support us and the efforts we are making to clean up the river.
Now, it's not hard to convince people of the appeal of a restaurant along the riverfront or a pathway that they can walk on and enjoy. But from what I understand, it's also important for people to understand the ecology in the river and along the river. Why is that?
Well, I mean, frankly, people get excited about wildlife. They understand. If you talk about fish, or you talk about beavers and muskrats, like you mentioned in the beginning, people start to think, this is alive? Really? This is going on? I live in this dense urban area, and yet there's wildlife out there, and I want to get out in a canoe maybe or on my bicycle and see it.
And what kind of wildlife exactly? Can you run down what we have out on the river?
Yeah, we see so many types of animals. We see black-crowned night herons, which are a state endangered bird that are roosting along the river. We see a variety of types of turtles, lots of fish. And just as Margaret said, the more people see these types of wildlife, they understand that the river is an ecosystem, it's alive. And if people are aware of that, they're more likely to take care of it and to invest in different types of infrastructure and projects that are going to continue to keep the river living. We do want to enjoy it along the way as we're dining and walking along the river, but we also want to create it as a living ecosystem.
Oh, we've seen a lot of development along the riverfront here downtown, especially through the the Loop area and just north of the Loop. Now, what other parts of the river are seeing development now and over the course of the next several years?
Well, I'd love to share a project that Shedd is working on. We just recently installed Shedd's River Island. This is part of the Wild Mile vision. It's a part of the Chicago River that's called the North Branch Canal. It's in Lincoln Park, just near North Avenue. And so Shedd has installed this island in partnership with an organization called Urban Rivers. And we're bringing kayakers out there to help to study the island and see what types of wildlife are coming to the island to make it their home. So that's definitely an exciting area that we're part of as far as contributing to that Wild Mile that's going to be a full natural scape of the Chicago River.
And what's really cool is that these kayaking expeditions, one, are free. You just need to put down a deposit, it's refundable. And then two, they're hands-on. You're not just rowing or paddling.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 2-hour free program, so people can sign up on our website. And so we'll bring them out kayaking with us, but we're putting them to work. We're asking them to help to do vegetation surveys, to do pollinator counts, and to do some scouting for turtles and waterfowl and things like that. So what we're trying to do is kind of get a baseline as we establish more and more of these habitats. How are we seeing an increase in biodiversity? We want to, again, create a river that's alive and that's thriving. And so we're asking people to help us in studying the river in that way, and also to get to explore and connect to it in a fun way.
And what are some of the vegetation, some of the animals that we're seeing now in the river that we didn't see maybe 5 or 10 years ago?
Well, probably the biggest news is that we're starting to see river otters, and river otters are really symbolic of a cleaner river. Not only do you have to have fish to eat and mussels and other macroinvertebrates, but you also have to have clean water. An otter depends upon its coat being very healthy and not disrupted by oil and other things. And so we've had studies done by the Forest Preserve of Cook County that show otters coming in and out of our river system. And that is really, they're kind of a predator, important predator in the system, which keeps the system healthy, but it's also just a pinnacle species that shows us that we are making really good strides.
And as far as vegetation, a cool project that SHED and Friends of the Chicago River are working on is installing more wetland aquatic plants in the North Shore channel of the Chicago River in Evanston. And so it's important for us to have a variety of plants both along the shore and also in the river. It helps to decrease the threat of erosion and creates habitat and food source for fish and macroinvertebrates living in the river.
Well, it's exciting to see new species. We'll be right back with more of our discussion after a short break. Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.